Hi guys, welcome to another PS Pro tutorial, and in this tutorial you're going to learn three of the handiest tools that I use on an almost day-to-day basis whenever I'm designing anything, certainly the two of which I use every single day, and these are if I just scroll on over here, the dodge tool, the burn tool and the sponge tool. Now to demonstrate what these awesome images do, I'm just going to bring up this image of the beach. Again, I'm always on the beach, so all my artwork generally comes from this kind of coastal scenario, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you first of all the dodge tool. Now what the dodge tool does is it kind of, well, I'll just show you it. If I have it set up here and I'm going to use a typical brush, 65, nice soft brush, have it set to mid-tones. Now just play around and see what kind of different effects that you get. And for example, if I want to bring up the whiteness of this cloud, and all I need to do is, by using the dodge tool, is just quickly paint on over the actual cloud itself, and you can see that it's coming up, just making it a little bit more whiter, so you can really start getting a ton of, again, nice effects. If I go over here and start painting to the right, you can see that the blue now is starting to come a little bit more illuminated, if you like, and it just gives that kind of, adds light to an actual picture. So if you've got photos that you're doing perhaps for flyers or for clients or something like that, and you just want to bring up some of the images or the image itself, you can play around with the dodge tool, and as the image gets darker, it's always good just to lower the exposure a little bit, and it just keeps it more kind of situated on the actual image itself. So again, I could bring up the white here for the actual ripples of the sea, make it a little bit more dynamic. Now I don't have to worry too much now about the black behind it, and I can just keep going, and you can start seeing the kind of nice image effects that you can really get just by adding some kind of various bits of color. It's always best to follow subject matter that's actually in the picture itself, otherwise you don't want to just have kind of like a blurry effect. So moving on, I'm now going to show you the burn tool, and now what that is it pretty much, it just does the opposite. So where I'd be making images lighter, it can start making images a little bit darker. So why do you want to use tools like that? Well, if we've got, for example, if I bring this logo or copy of the logo down here, and let's say for argument's sake I want to have the actual logo kind of in the bottom left, you can see where I've burnt out here behind the logo. It's a lot darker than this sand. So if I just carry on and get the burn tool up again, I can start carrying on darkening out this kind of artwork here, and it just brings the text forward a little bit. If I take the exposure up just a notch, it will start doing it a lot more effectively. But you can just see it starts burning out the actual image behind it, just so I can kind of have a nice kind of effect, and it just brings the logo kind of up. Now there's a ton of different features that you can have by selecting it, so that's with the mid-tones, and I can just kind of work on the shadows and things like that as well, and that just gives it a slightly different effect over there. And again, the highlights, you can work exactly the same way, and I'm just focusing on more of the lighter parts of the picture. So I'm just going to quickly undo quite a lot of that and show you the final tool, which is the sponge tool. Now this, you can use it to saturate or desaturate. I'm going to use desaturate just to start with, and if I start brushing behind the logo here, you can see it just makes it a little bit more, well, it takes the color, it kind of sucks the color as if a sponge would be doing it from the actual artwork. And again, if I saturate now, this is really cool, it just kind of gives it a nice just brings up the colors a bit and adds more color into the actual image. So if I want to start looking at the sky, I can start just putting a bit more color in the actual blues, and it really does make the clouds look a lot more dynamic than the original image. So they're three really handy tools that I use all the time if I'm actually making any kind of artwork and I want to get logos to stand out, or if I'm adding text, which we get to talk about in another tutorial coming up real soon. You can start just adjusting the image just in very specific places just to really bring the image out. So three handy tools. Hopefully you've dug this tutorial, and I'll see you in another one real soon.